Hey there, Buck Rizvi here. One of the things that I love to do every year is take the time to write down my objectives for the coming year. What are my goals? What do I want to get done? What's most important to me? And I've done this a number of different ways over the years, but I can tell you that every time I've done it and then I've gone back and looked at that list, I've been shocked at the amount of things that I've been able to achieve. My wife and I started doing this, over 14 years ago, and I still have the lists of things that we put together since that time. So what I'm going to do is let you, peel back the curtains here and let you see my process that I go through right now. This is actually based on a book that I discovered after listening to a great podcast called Art of the Kickstart. And the gentleman being interviewed mentioned one of the books that had had an impact on his life. The book was called How to Get Control of Your Time and Your Life by Alan Lakine. It's out of print now. It's actually a hidden gem. But I'm going to summarize the basic goals, what I'm calling the goal-setting game from that book, and then teach you the steps of how you can start to put things in motion on a weekly and daily basis so that you actually achieve your goals, okay? So let's break it down. The first step in this process is to answer the question, and do this on a separate sheet of paper. Grab a sheet of paper and write at the top of it question number one, which is, what are my lifetime goals? And then take 2 minutes and just write down, without censoring yourself, in brainstorming fashion, as many lifetime goals as you can think of, okay? Take a couple minutes, do that. And again, don't censor, have fun, think big, go wild. Don't do any editing at this point. Step two is then take a couple minutes and go ahead and review and improve the answers to question one. Just take 2 minutes, do that, and do that now. Now, question two is going to be answered on a separate sheet of paper. Go ahead and pull out a separate sheet of paper. Right at the top, how would I like to spend the next 5 years of my life? And that's really zooming in on another, just the next 5-year horizon. Take 2 minutes, write down everything that you would like to be doing and say how you would like to spend your time over the next 5 years. Some of that might be similar to what you had from question one. Some of those might be different, okay? But again, don't edit, think big, go wild, and don't censor yourself at this stage, okay? After about 2 minutes of writing those down, go ahead and spend a little extra time, a couple minutes, reviewing and improving the questions from question two. Now, move ahead to question three. And this is the big one. I call this my Steve Jobs question. If I knew I would be dead 6 months from today, how would I live until then? That's a big one. That's a deep question, right? Puts things into different perspective. Take a couple minutes and write down your answers to that question. If I knew I would be dead 6 months from today, how would I live until then? Okay, again, don't censor, don't edit, just brainstorm, write those down. And then when you're done, take another couple minutes and go ahead and improve and review the answers to that question. So once that process is done, you're going to have 3 sheets of paper. Okay, go ahead and spend a couple minutes, as much time as you actually want to take, and review and improve the answers to all 3 questions on all 3 sheets of paper. Now, I realize that there may be some conflicts amongst the answers that you put on these 3 sheets. I'm not asking you to combine them just yet, okay? But just work on them as individual lists, and then resolve any conflicts by simply prioritizing. It's all about priority, right? If one objective, one goal conflicts with another, then move the higher priority goal to the top. Okay, makes sense? So the next step is what we're going to want to do is what I call setting your lifetime priorities part 1. I want you to select your top 3 priorities from each of the 3 lists. So go to list 1, what are my lifetime goals, and select 3 of the priorities that you listed, the top 3, and just label them A1, A2, and A3. Okay? Take about 1 minute per list to do this. Go to the second list. What do I want to do over the next 5 years? Select the top 3 and label them A1, A2, A3, and go to the if I knew I was going to be dead list in the next 6 months, and label your top 3 A1, A2, A3. About a minute per list. And at the end of that process, you should have 9 goals at this stage. Okay? Now, the next step, hopefully, is going to be a lot easier. And what I want you to do is select 3 and only 3 of those 9 goals. I'm not saying throw away those 9 goals now, okay? But I want you to pick 3 and only 3 to be your most important long-term goals. This just comes down to priorities, right? So they could be all 3 from one list, or one from each list. It's really up to you. But make sure that these are your most important, top 3 most important long-term goals. And I want you to write those down on a separate sheet of paper. Call that my 3, I had a typo there, but my 3 most important long-term goals are, and then list the 3 goals. And I've made it actually pretty easy for you. What I've done is I'm going to give you a sheet that has, you can print out and just, go through this brainstorming process. What are my lifetime goals? That's sheet 1. We're going to go to sheet 2, which is takes a total of 4 minutes, 2 minutes to write the goals and 2 minutes to review. How would you like to spend the next 5 years? Okay, and then the third sheet, which is right here, is going to be question 3, which is in this case, if I knew I was going to be struck dead by lightning 6 months from today, this is what I call the Steve Jobs question. How would I live until then? Okay, so those are your 3 sheets, and then once you've prioritize those and pick the top 3 from each of those, then what I wanted you to do is write down my 3 most important long-term goals are, and write them down on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so that's step 1 in this process. You now have 3 of your most important long-term goals written down, and that's great. Okay, you've now put some things into perspective. You've prioritized. That's wonderful. But where do you go from here? This is where so many goal-setting exercises fall down, right? And this is where you need to learn how to. This is where I I can always be better. I can always do this better. But something that I do is I break this down into what are the things that I should be doing. This year, this month, this week, this day. Okay, and that's the next part of this exercise. So let me open up my other sheet here, and what we're going to do is start working on, I would do this activity, what I just took you through, once a year. Maybe do that on your birthday. It doesn't have to be done on New Year's Day, but it could be done on your birthday. And I would do this next activity weekly, and I call this putting together your weekly activity list. Maybe you could do this on a Sunday afternoon. So what you want to do is, for each of your 3 long-term goals, go ahead and brainstorm all of the possible activities for that goal. So for example, if I knew that I wanted to lose 20 pounds this year, okay, maybe one activity is I would like to walk 30 minutes a day. Okay, so that's an activity that I could take part in. Maybe I would want to weigh myself every day or once a week. So that's another activity, so monitoring my results. So go ahead and brainstorm all the possible activities for each of your long-term goals. Go for speed and quantity. Don't try, again, brainstorming here. Don't try to censor yourself. Don't overthink it, okay? And then next step is to prioritize that list. And again, you're going to hear a recurring theme, prioritization of my activities, right? So take a couple minutes, prioritize the list. Now, here's the big thing. Here's one key secret here, is that you want to eliminate any low priority activities. And the way you can do that is ask this question. Am I committed to spending a minimum of 5 minutes on this activity within the next 7 days? If you see it on your list, but you know in your heart of hearts that you're not going to be able to spend any time on this activity over the next 7 days, even if it's just 5 minutes, then go ahead and just drop it off the list. Right? Let's just focus on things that we can spend some time on this week. And then now you've done this, you've created this activity list for all 3 of your long-term goals. Go ahead and combine those into one master list. Okay? And now that you have that combined master list, go ahead and prioritize each of those activities, A1, A2, A3. Okay? So that way you know, hey, this one, if I spend some time on it this week, wow, this would really move me closest to my top most important goal, for example, and then take it from there. Now, here's the magic. Schedule these activities on your calendar for the coming week. This is one step that a lot of people neglect, And if it's not scheduled, if it doesn't exist on your calendar, most likely it's not going to exist. It's not going to get done. Okay, and I'm going to show you in just a moment one of the tools that I like to use for scheduling. It's really, really cool. But each day you'll want to select an A activity to work on right away and do it. And that's a very, very important step. In fact, I'm going to show you what I like to do on a daily basis. So, but if you have things that you know are going to take, maybe an hour or two or what have you to get done, and you want to make sure that you look at your upcoming week's calendar and schedule in that activity for the upcoming week. Because if it's scheduled, you're much more likely to get it done. Okay? So now we're going to move to what winners do, and this is something that really moves me closer to getting all my high priority tasks done. And they maintain a daily to-do list. I know a lot of people know, familiar with to-do lists, but the way to use a to-do list to get maximum effectiveness eludes some people, right? So the way you want to do this is, now that you have these 3 long-term goals, prioritized master activity list based on those goals for this week. Okay. Now what you want to do is list out what you would like to get done today. This is a daily thing. You might do this the night before or the morning of, before you kick off the day. List out what you plan to get done today. Okay. And the big secret here is always include a long-term activity on your daily to-do list, 1 or more. Okay. And obviously you want to pick the highest priority one that you can get done that day, right? So simple rules for a daily to-do list: prioritize, your activities, A, B, C, A being the highest, C obviously being the lowest, okay? Always work on your highest priority task first. Go ahead. I know those C's look like they're really easy to do, and they could be busy work, but the reality is, you can probably delegate a lot of those C's to other people so that you can focus on the A's and B's, right? So go ahead and do that as much as possible, because the big key to success in achieving your goals is to do more A's and fewer C's. So what I've done is put together a quick spreadsheet that I'll share with you that can help you, and I actually have this broken down into tabs of goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. So you can come in here and go through the exercise, or game as I call it, of putting together all your activities for each of your 3 goals. So you can go ahead and list them here in the spreadsheet. Here's for goal 1, here's for goal 2, here's for goal 3, and then once you've done that, go ahead and assemble your master activity list. And this can be used to help drive your daily activity list, your daily to-do list, as we call it, right? So that's it. That's the simple process. I walked you through how to go about the goal-setting game that we saw here, and I'll go ahead and share this little flowchart with you so that you can put together, your top 9 and then zero in on your top 3 most important lifetime goals. Okay, and I kind of framed it in terms of, hey, what's generally important, what's more important in the next 5 years, what's really, really vital that you want to get some things done, and then coming up with the activities for each of those goals, zeroing in on the most important activities and moving those to a master list, and then scheduling them and making sure that you're getting at least one of them done every single day. Wow, you're gonna look back on this, months and weeks from now and say, I can't believe how much I've accomplished, right? So one of the tools that I like to use because I'm a little bit of a techie, so I've discovered this app called Timeful. I believe it is free on the iTunes store, and I believe that there's an Android version as well. If it's not free, it's a very, very nominal charge. But this is a great little app that you can use in conjunction with your activity list to schedule to-dos, to schedule blocks of time, and to schedule and form really good habits. So for example, if one of your goals is to lose weight and you want to have the habit of walking for 30 minutes, this can actually give you reminders to make sure you schedule one of those habits on a daily basis. So it's a really, really cool little app that can be used in conjunction with this master activity list and getting things done. So that's it. That's my gift to you in helping you achieve more of what you want to achieve in the next year. I hope you have a wonderful year, and I look forward to getting your feedback on this. And do check out that book. Let me make sure I got the name correct. How to Get Control of Your Time and Your Life by Alan Lakine. This is Buck Rizvi signing off. Have a wonderful year, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.